We continue here at the Emergency Operations Center, which is still active as we watch rising rivers, but no big problems are expected besides what we had from Francine. Tonya Mabry is the chief housing official for the parish, and yesterday, a big part of her job were operating the three shelters we activated. Now, only at last count, fewer than 100 people were actually there, but nevertheless, something had to be done for those who had nowhere else to go.
Yes, Ken. We try to provide some type of safe housing for our residents whenever we have a disaster coming through. We usually open shelters on the south end, centrally located in the central end, which is pretty much a meet, and we also open one on the north end, Tangipahoa, Kentwood. So our shelters were in Robert A. Mead and Tangipahoa this year.
Of course, we mentioned how this storm did the unexpected, so there were so many unknowns. Had you encountered a large number of evacuees, you'd have had to open other shelters.
Yes, we would have to open additional shelters, usually on the south end and the north end. But we were prepared to do so. This storm took a unusual turn and approach. It definitely was not the model that we were watching, the track that we were watching. But nonetheless, we were prepared.
So the school board was activated. You could have gone to other schools to get more shelter space.
Yes, so our additional shelters would have been at schools in Tangipahoa Parish.
It's an example of the uncertainty that, especially with this storm, you had to be ready for anything that could have happened.
Correct. But we're always prepared. We have our staff that we train during the year so that when we have these type of events, that we're ready to go.
One of the things I learned that just surprised me was that we still have a substantial number of people in FEMA trailers left over from Ida.
Yes. So initially, we have 73 families that are still in FEMA trailers. So we reached out to those families prior to the storm approaching to let them know that we had shelters open for them to get out of those trailers and to go to the shelters. We contacted every last one of those families.
Because the state was saying, look, you can't leave these families in FEMA trailers when a hurricane is headed for your area.
Correct. So we did all the precautions necessary to get those families to a safe location to ride out the storm.
So, what is involved in setting up a shelter? I mean, you have to think about where people are going to get their medicine or food or any number of things.
So we asked them to come to the shelters when they check into the shelters to have the necessities for at least 3 days. And we do assessments constantly. We have workers working in the shelter that do case management with the families. Whatever supplies or medicines or things that are needed, we try our best to accommodate to the best of our ability.
So, how would you say that Francine went as an event for housing?
I would say that we were blessed that Francine kind of took a easterly turn and did not hit us directly. So therefore, our citizens, most of them are able to return to their homes this morning. So as of now, we are in the process of doing our assessments with those families to see how many can return home and how many would still need to remain in the shelters.
Who are these people that need shelter in an event like this?
People that live in mobile homes, areas that flood on a regular basis. We also get families from other parishes throughout Louisiana. We actually had a family from Chalmette in our A-Meat shelter. So those are the type of people that come to the shelters that have nowhere else to go, no family. So we give them a shelter of last resort.
Well, and even though it's not encouraged, what do you do when they show up?
When they show up, we check them in. We give them a cot, blanket. We have snacks for them. So we partner with the Red Cross. This time, the Red Cross did not actually run the shelters. Tangipahoa Parish government ran the shelters, but we do partner with Red Cross, and they supply us with the things that are needed for the shelter.
Well, I was reminded that it's been 3 years since we had any weather event even remotely like this, and that was Ida, and this was no Ida, but maybe we got a little out of practice, so this was a good drill for what might be if we get another Ida, when we get another Ida.
Yes, well, we stay prepared because we never know because shelters have to open Sometimes we have to open warming shelters. If there's a flood that comes through and we have to operate a shelter, immediately, we stay prepared. We have to contact like the fire marshal, the state health department to come out whatever location that we decide that we're going to open the shelter. They come out and inspect, and they give us the okay to open. Once we open, we activate our team, and we're ready. We're ready to accept the citizens that need to be there.
Housing in Tangipahoa is sort of a mixed bag. For example, in a lot of the North End municipalities, like Amite comes to mind, there's just not enough housing. So that I know people that maybe they'll renovate a house every now and then. Well, there are demands to buy that house long before it's ever finished, because if you work in Amite, a lot of people do, it's just hard to find housing. There's not enough. There's not that much. The subdivisions are not being built on the North End.
Yes, I would agree with that. We are constantly asking and seeking housing on throughout Tangipahoa Parish. So we encourage people to continue to build, to continue to bring affordable housing to this area, because it is something that is very needed for our residents.
My daughter's getting married, and she actually bought a house, and the reason she bought a house is that it's infinitely less expensive to do that than it is to rent. What kind of a world is that we live in?
Right. We have seen that the rental world has increased, especially with all of the natural disasters that we've had the past years. The insurance costs have gone up. It's just expensive to operate a rental property. So therefore, landlords are having to increase the rents.
So what do you do? How do you get affordable housing?
Well, we try to keep it as affordable as we can. And we do have rent caps if they choose to rent through our program, which is the Housing Choice Voucher Program. We have caps on the rents that we can only go to a certain amount. So we try to work with those landlords to get them to work with us through our program and to work with the rents that we're able to afford.
Well, one of the things I've learned is that a lot of the industry here that's either brand new, like Medline comes to mind, or existing industry that has expanded, they've made Hammond a place to be. People come here because there are jobs here now, and that means a housing shortage.
Yes, we definitely have a housing shortage throughout the parish. And like I said before, we encourage people to continue to bring affordable housing, to develop new properties. Even if you have existing properties, we're looking for those as well. We house in apartments, mobile homes. It can be a single family dwelling. So any of those would be options for landlords to bring to the parish, to bring to the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Well, last but not least, you're getting a new office.
Yes, Ken, we are excited. It's been a long time coming, but we're excited that we're going to get a new housing office for Tangipahoa Parish, and we're looking forward to it.